Now, there has been a lot of talk. Obviously, last week, the president had announced his program with the different phases to start reopening up America again. And a number of folks have been talking about how will we do that here in Nebraska. And as I mentioned, what we're going to take a look at doing is lifting restrictions gradually. And so we're going to talk about today the first restriction we're going to propose to release, and it has to do with elective surgeries. So we're making the announcement today that starting May 4th, so in 2 weeks, hospitals will be able to do elective surgeries. Now, in order to do that, though, they've got to meet certain criteria. To be able to perform those elective surgeries, hospital must have 30% of their hospital beds open. They must have 30% of their intensive care unit beds open. And they must have 30% of their ventilators open. And they must have 2 weeks of the appropriate PPE available at that site. So these are the criteria that if a hospital meets that, they will be able to start doing elective surgeries. Now, I think it's also important to note that just because we say it's elective surgery doesn't mean it's an unnecessary surgery. It just means it was a surgery that was planned. In fact, these are necessary surgeries that have been delayed through our directive health measure here in the month of April. And we want to open these back up to be able to allow those folks who need to have those surgeries to be able to start scheduling those and start having those surgeries performed. It's also an important source of revenue for many hospitals. So in order to help sustain our hospitals and make sure they're available to help take care of coronavirus patients, we want them to be able to have a revenue source to be able to stay in business. So again, what we're announcing today is the first relaxation of our DHMs that will be allowing hospitals to be able to start performing elective surgeries May 4th. Now, in that DHM as well, you'll note that we had also included veterinary services and dental services. Those will also be relaxed at that point as well. So dentists will be able to start seeing patients again on May 4th. Veterinarian services will be able to be performed. This also covers, for example, ambulatory surgical centers. So ASCs will be able to start performing surgeries as well. So again, that is our first step in being able to start lifting some of these restrictions that we've put in place with regard to DHMs. And again, only under those criteria that I just outlined with regard to 30% hospital beds, 30% ICU beds, 30% ventilators available, and 2 weeks of PPE available.